this, Marty. I mean, I know you're talking about it all the time on Sabres Live and on pre and post game shows. I'm watching more post game TV Sabres coverage than ever. I'll admit that. Like, these games have been so much fun and so interesting. What's the right first question? When did you buy in to this maybe being possible?
So I think the game that I bought in was the first game after the Christmas break. So I think it was Boston. But I remember, we went actually to Seattle. Duffer and I went out to Seattle because there was a conflict with the Bills game. And so that was game 3 of the 10-game winning streak. And they had beaten, the Oilers in a weird way. Like, Colton Ellis gets hurt in the first period. Alex Lyon comes in. They beat Vancouver. Vancouver's terrible. And then they go to Seattle and they win, come back home, play a couple of games. And I'm like, okay, everybody keeps saying, oh, this is a bad time for a break. When they come back from the break, they'll tell me if they're for real. And they came back from the break and they kept on winning. And at that point, I was like, okay, they're for real, because it wasn't just a fluke. It wasn't just, oh, we're really feeling it. It's more like, this is who we are. This is the process we go through. This is how we're going to play. And then we went to Nashville. And I'll tell you this, Tage Thompson in Nashville, showed me something that I haven't seen out of Tage and maybe out of a lot of guys in a long time. So they're up 4-0. Everything's going well. Now, all of a sudden, Nashville comes back 4-1, 4-2, 4-3, and it's about 10 minutes left in the third period. And Tage has the puck, and he's about to go one-on-one against the Nashville defenseman, and he's late in the shift. And instead of forcing it and trying to go around the D, he chipped it in the corner and went for a change. And I'm like, that is something that we've not seen a lot. That's the right play right there, because everybody's changing. If Tage loses an edge, loses the puck, it's counterattack. It's the other way. Everybody's scrambling, and then all of a sudden you give up a goal, and it's 4-4, and who knows what happens. He got it in, and then Peyton Krebs later scored an empty netter, and they won in Nashville. And I'm like, that's the maturity developing that I've seen. So I would say the first game after Christmas and that Nashville game, I was very impressed.
Well, I love that attention to detail, Marty. That is such a – when the season began, multiple games. We didn't talk about it a lot because we were still in the midst of the Bills season, and the Sabres were still, frankly, kind of depressing to talk about. So we didn't do a lot of it. But there were lapses, Thompson specifically, defensively, where I'd just be like, there's no way they're picking him for the Olympic team. The game in Philly is one that comes to mind. A game in Philly where it just whoa, dude, what are you doing? And I really don't believe it's just because the results are different now. I feel like I haven't seen him annoy me defensively in weeks.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, he feels a lot better at center. And I think for the first month and a half, almost 2 months of the season, it was a battle. I remember asking him, do you feel like you're okay on the wing? And he says, no, I like the middle of the ice way better. And then they were asking Lindy, and Lindy was like, oh, I mean, I like him on the wing, but then Norris was injured, and, so you were kind of lacking that middle depth, and they put him back in the middle. I'm like, okay, we know now. We tried that song and dance with Sam Reinhart back in many years ago. Is he a center? Is he a winger? And although he's still listed as a center on NHL.com, he doesn't even play center in Florida. He's a winger. That's what it is. Tage Thompson's a center. He could be listed as a right winger or whatever. He's a center, and he'll always be a center for me, because that's how different he is now with his approach to the game. Will he make mistakes in the defensive zone? Absolutely. And right now they got him playing with Krebs and Tuck, and I think that Krebs and Tuck really helped defensively. It was not the last Montreal game that they lost, but the one before that. They were in Montreal, and they were being absolutely outplayed by Suzuki and Caulfield. And I'm like, that's going to happen. You're playing against the best of lines, and you're going to get outplayed at times. But then Lindy changed the matchups a little bit, went to McLeod and Zucker against Suzuki and Caulfield, and then all of a sudden Tage is, playing his best hockey again. So I think there's ways around it. But, yeah, the maturity and the attention to details, if I was to hear Lindy Ruff say, puck management was an issue, I was going to throw my monitor out the door. It was like he kept repeating it. I'm like, somebody's got to do something about it.
With Marty Biron, you say you've asked Thompson, you've had a conversation with him about what position he prefers. Have you had a conversation ever with Matias Samuelson that basically goes, what in the actual hell is happening with you? Like, have you had that conversation with him?
I've not had that conversation with him, but again, like, we had Tage on Sabres Live today, and I'm like, what's happening with Matias Samuelson? He goes, you know what? Like, I think it surprises a lot of people, but he has one of the better wrist shot. He's got silky, smooth hands and some good skills for a big guy. He just never really was healthy to show it and confident to show it. And like those 2 goals in Tampa the other night, and I know the Sabres lost in overtime, but when you beat Vasilevsky short side like that, like, there's not a lot of guys that would feel confidence to even take that shot against Vasilevsky. Sammy's like, why not try it? Then he comes in on the rush and he beats him. Now, I was saying that and joking with our crew the other day. I'm like, well, maybe Vasilevsky's allergic to big, tall, stay-at-home defenseman. Remember when Ilya Lyubushkin scored in overtime, right? Yeah. And like Vasilevsky can stop Stamkos and Ovechkin and whatever and Crosby, but he can't stop Lyubushkin and Samuelson. That's his problem.
Marty, you've been around the game, obviously playing, and now as a broadcaster for all these years. Have you ever seen a player 1 year to the next have as dramatic a turnaround as Samuelson has had? I can't remember.
It's pretty rare. It's pretty rare. And look, maybe like think of Jordan Binnington when he joined the St. Louis Blues. I mean, the guy wasn't even in the Blues farm team. He was in Providence. He was on loan to a different AHL team, and they needed him. He gets called up, and he kept on winning and wins the Stanley Cup. Like, you're thinking, where did that come from? But Samuelson was in the NHL, and Samuelson was like, they tried him with Dahlin on the top pair, and was it working? Okay, but he was getting hurt, and now, like, even some of the plays, and I know you guys watch the games with the details of the games, but he comes back in his zone, and the stick is always in the right spot, and the feet are turned the right way, so he doesn't get turned left when everybody's going right, and I'm like, okay, like this is somebody that I believe put a ton of work. We asked him about, they were about to play Jersey, so we asked him about the things about, the Jersey Shore and living in South Jersey, because he lived right outside of Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And he said, I go back to the Jersey Shore in the summertime, but we skate every day. We do detailed work, and I think he did a ton of it last summer to get ready for this year, and it's showing.
With Marty Biron, Samuelson, right, son of Shell Samuelson, who played many years for the Flyers. We talked about that for a minute last night. Marty, I don't know. Like, I've had a complicated relationship with goalies, over the years, just watching the Sabres and thinking kind of Kevin Adams always made sense to me. I'll start there with respect to the goaltending position, which is you really don't know what you're getting necessarily. There are a few guys who are always outstanding and everybody else kind of up and down. Luukkonen is somewhat of an example of that. Is this group of goalies to be trusted? Is there any way to know that? Is there a guy you like the most?
I like Lyon the most, probably. And I think it just comes from, having played for so long and appreciating somebody that is thinking the game, not overthinking the position. Like, it's about stopping the puck. At the end of the day, it's about get your body in the shot lane, be squared, be angled, have good depth, and let the puck hit you or reach out for it and make the save. Dominic Hasek was in town last week when they did the Always the Goalie movie and all of that. And Lyon played a game here, and Hasek was like, he never gives out any rebounds. Like, he was impressed by that. I'm like, well, if that's impressive to Dominic Hasek, I think we should all be paying attention to that. Like, there's no rebounds to be had. But it's because he's so calm and he's such in the right position. He reads the play well. I'm jealous of the butterfly whip that he's got. Like, he looks like he's a little bit of a robot. Like, he doesn't move a ton, but it works. The thing is that, we're all kind of drawn towards the Shesterkin and Vasilevsky and Ottinger and those guys that are so athletic and can really make the highlight saves. But Lyon has been so steady to me. That's why he's 11-1 in the last in his last 12 games. He's almost a .930 save percentage in those. Like, league average this year is .896. Like, if you are pulling .930s, like when Dom was doing .935, the league average was .910, .911.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty significant if you're pulling these numbers.
He sold himself short, and this is what we do in the interview. Hasek last week, like he basically sounded like he said everybody's better now than I was or than we were, but this kind of thing is always the player versus the rest of the league. You normalize it, and Hasek, I mean, he led the league in save percentage 6 years in a row. Come on, like Marty Brodeur, these guys that get compared even favorably to him have to calm down because nobody else has come close to that. And even if it was,
you can only compare yourself to the guys that you're playing.
That's
with.
right.
I mean, like Johnny Bauer and Glenn Hall and Terry Sawchuk, they would say, oh, the Ken Dryden generation and Tony Esposito generation was way better than we were. And then, the generation after that, the Patrick and Marty and Dom and Eddie Belfour and Curtis Joseph are like, well, we are way better than the generation before us in the way that we play. But the game changes. The goalies changes. I mean, I look at, my kid, he's 21, and I'm like, he's way better than I was. But at the same time, he's playing college hockey. That's not because he's playing pro. He's not NHL, whatnot. But the kids are better at everything, right? They develop more. And that's why, like, Hasek was saying that. But Dom still, was unique and the best in the world. Like, he is the best to ever play. That's to me, that's not even a debate.
Same.
Yeah, I mean the teaching, Marty. I mean you've coached dozens, if not hundreds, of goalies in town. There's so much technical that goes into it, and that's why I think Hasek would say that the coaching has expanded. I mean, I know he had Mitch Korn, but it's just a very different world now.
But Mitch was teaching a different game back then too. Like, you should see some of the drills that Mitch had us do in training camp. Like, we would do, shuffle, shuffle, butterfly, shuffle, shuffle, half butterfly, half butterfly. Like, lay on your side, get back up, lay on your back, get back up. It was all that. And Mitch was really good. Like, you look at Dominic Hasek, and then he goes to Nashville, and he has, Mike Dunham and Thomas Vokoun, and then he develops, a little bit of Pecorine early, and then, he moves on with other organizations. And that's what he was doing. And now, if you talk to Mitch Korn and even the Allairs, I had Benny and Frankie Allaire, and, it's changed a lot. They don't teach what they did in the 90s and 2000. They don't even teach what they did in 2010. Like, 15 years later, it changes a lot.
Who was your favorite goalie growing up?
Mike Liut. Mike Liut with the Hartford Whalers, and that's because my dad worked for a construction company, and the construction company had some season tickets to the Nordiques, but he was lower on the totem pole, so everybody took the Canadians, the Boston Bruins, they took the Rangers, the Flyers, and the only tickets left were the Hartford Whalers. So we would go to the Hartford Whalers games. I would go behind the Whalers bench and net and warm up. I would watch Mike Liut, big, tall, number one defenseman, and he was so good. And so he was my goalie growing up.
Wasn't he Ryan Miller's agent?
Yes, he was. He was Ryan Miller's agent. You're absolutely right. And, he did Hartford, St. Louis. Mm-hmm. Washington. So, I used to have the sticker books, not the cards, but you had the stickers and you put them all in there. And I was so excited when I got my Mike Liut sticker.
Very good.
Mike Liut. Was that Loblaws for you in Quebec? Because Loblaws was for us here.
No, I don't remember what it was.
Tops had
Yum
stickers.
used to be a chip. Tops had stickers, but I don't know if you guys remember Yum Yum were like a chips brand back in Canada. They used to do a lot with the cards and the NHL and all of that. So I remember having those for a while too.
Do I remember Liut correctly? I feel like there was like the mask was really long and almost came to a point below his chin.
All white,
and it was a big cage, so you could see his mouth in the cage. Like it was wider open, a little bit like Olaf Goldzig had that kind of mask too, where it doesn't just cut underneath the nose, like the mouth is exposed, so there's a bigger like face recognition maybe with that, or he just thought he saw the puck better. And his cage was really weird. Instead of being the curve, like the arc bars, they were very square and angled. So that was Mike Liut.
Nice. I was thinking Tops, by the way, with 2 Ps. The trading card company had sticker books. I was into that.
Grocery store, yeah.
What are you going to do the next 3 weeks?
Oh, I'll be watching a lot of hockey, Olympic hockey. I'm going to do some, Canadian TSN coverage. Obviously, Sabres Live is going to continue to go, so we're going to be talking about Tage Thompson and Rasmus Dahlin and everything else that is happening at the Olympics. But it's going to be a little bit more relaxed, so maybe I'll have a little bit of time to catch up on like the many emails I've not responded. I've got a daughter that's applying to colleges, and I get emails on the daily like, hey, you have to fill this and I have to fill that. And I've completely put it aside. So I'm going to have to sit at the computer and do a lot of replying to emails.
Sounds great.
Dig in.
Thank you very much for today. Enjoy the game tonight.
Guys, always a pleasure. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the break. And, go Sabres. Let's keep it going.
Let's go, Marty. Thanks a lot. Marty Biron with us. We're not getting a break either. We don't get time with 3 weeks off for the Olympics.
Yeah, no.
He's doing Sabres Live. We're doing this. Mostly, I think, right? Like, we're just going to be here. You might even come in.
Shut up. One day in the last how long?
It's funny. I'm not complaining. Today would have been the perfect day for me to stay home because my wife is out of town and my kids are home right now and who knows what they're doing. But, got to trust it. Hopefully they're staying cool. I'm sure they're doing their homework.
Oh, yeah.
Knock that out first thing.
Definitely.
Knock that out. Thanks, Marty. 803-0550 for us, the Super Bowl, the Sabres tonight, and the Bills. We'll talk to Sal at 5 about the new coordinators and what they had to say today.